Deep in the densely packed forests of the Pacific Northwest, something is hiding. For decades, hikers, researchers, and local residents have stepped forward with the exact same terrifying story. A massive, towering creature, over 8 feet tall, covered from head to toe in thick, dark hair, walking on two legs through the thickest brush where no human could easily survive. We all seen the footage, the blurry, shaking 1967 clip of a giant ape-like figure walking across a riverbed, stopping for just a split second to look back directly at the camera before vanishing into the trees forever. It is the single most debated piece of film in modern history. Some people swear it's the ultimate proof that an undiscovered prehistoric species is thriving right under our noses. Others say it's nothing more than a guy in a cheap gorilla suit pulling off a legendary stunt. But regardless of what you believe, one thing is completely undeniable. This creature has a hold on our collective imagination like nothing else on Earth. It is a pop culture titan, an internet mystery staple, and the king of all cryptids. But where did this obsession actually begin? How did a hidden forest myth explode into a global phenomenon that completely took over the internet? To understand the true weight of the legend, we have to look past the modern viral videos, travel back to the very beginning, before the cameras were ever rolling, because the real history of this creature is split between two completely different identities. To truly break down this mystery, we have to look at the two names this creature goes by, Sasquatch and Bigfoot. Today, people use them interchangeably like they mean the exact same thing, but their historical origins are completely different. The word Sasquatch isn't a modern internet creation at all. It is actually an Americanized pronunciation of the word, and sorry if I butcher this, Saskets, which comes from the Coast Salish indigenous people of the Pacific Northwest and Western Canada. For hundreds of years, long before European settlers ever set foot in these forests, indigenous oral traditions spoke of the Saskets, described as wild, powerful, spiritual men of the woods who possessed supernatural strength and guarded the deep wilderness. To the native tribes, this wasn't a cheap monster story or a modern creepypasta. It was a deeply respected part of the local lore and forest history. But then, the year 1958 completely changed the game and shifted the entire legend into a massive media frenzy. In north of California, a construction foreman named Jerry Crew was working on a road building project deep in the remote wilderness. And sorry if I butcher this, Humboldt County. One morning, he walked out to his heavy bulldozers and stopped dead in his tracks. Stamped directly into the deep, thick mud around his machinery were a series of absolutely massive, monstrous footsteps. They measured a whopping 16 inches long. Jerry Crew didn't know what to think. He went straight to the local newspaper, the Humboldt Times. The journalist ran the story on the front page, and to describe the mysterious maker of these massive tracks, they coined a brand new catchy American name, Bigfoot. The article spread like absolute wildfire across the country. It was a perfect punchy headline that captured the imagination of mid-century America. Overnight, the ancient spiritual legend of the Sasquatch was completely rebranded into a viral, monster hunting mystery called Bigfoot. The hunt was officially on, and the world was completely hooked. But behind that massive 1958 breakthrough lies a dark hidden secret, because those exact mud stamps that birthed the name Bigfoot held a twist that absolutely no one saw coming. Those exact 16-inch footprints found at the California construction site in 1958 didn't just launch a name, they launched an entire global phenomenon. For decades, researchers pointed back to that specific event as the definitive, undeniable proof that a giant creature was actively patrolling the American wilderness. It was the foundation that the entire modern Bigfoot community was built upon. But decades later, the truth finally caught up with the legend, and it delivered a massive, irreversible gut punch to the entire mystery. In the year 2002, an elderly man named Ray Wallace passed away at the age of 84. Shortly after his death, his family stepped forward to the media with a shocking announcement that completely turned the cryptid world upside down. They revealed that Ray Wallace wasn't just a regular citizen, he was a legendary, lifelong prankster. And back in 1958, he just happened to be the owner of the exact construction company building that road in Humboldt County. His family didn't just make a random claim, they brought out the absolute factual receipts out from his private belongings. They produced a pair of massive 16-inch feet carved roughly out of solid alder wood. Ray have carved those wooden feet himself, strapped them securely onto his boots, and walked heavily around his old bulldozers in the deep mud just to mess with his construction crew. He had absolutely no idea that his local construction site joke would make it to the front page of the newspaper, let alone birth of a global phenomenon. For over 40 years, Ray Wallace watched the entire world obsess over Bigfoot, knowing the entire time that the world's most famous monster was born from a pair of wooden planks in his garage. The foundation of the entire modern legend was officially proven to be an absolute manufactured hoax. When the Ray Wallace hoax was officially exposed to the world, critics and skeptics thought the Bigfoot legend was completely dead and buried. They figured people would pack up their gear, delete their forums, and move on. But it had the exact opposite effect, because exposing the 1958 hoax actually uncovered a much deeper, far more terrifying question. If the tracks that started the craze were 100% fake, then what are people actually seeing out in the deep woods today? The truth is, you can't blame centuries of history on one man with wooden shoes. Ray Wallace didn't exist hundreds of years ago when the native coast Salish people were passing down their ancient accounts on the Sasquatch or Sasquatch. Ray Wallace wasn't there to plant the thousands of other footprints found in completely different states across remote mountain ranges where no normal prankster could ever realistically hike. And then there's the sheer biology of the Pacific Northwest itself. States like Washington and Oregon contain millions of acres of completely dense, unmapped, and virtually untouched wilderness. It is an environment so massive and thick that brand new species of plants and insects are still being discovered there to this day. So while science and history have successfully debunked the original 1958 tracks, the core mystery remains completely unsolved. Every single year, hundreds of logical, level-headed hikers, park rangers, and military personnel continue to report massive, unexplainable, bipedal figures moving through the deep brush. The hoax was proven false, but the wilderness, ho ho ho, itself is still keeping secrets. So, that is the true hidden history behind the world's most famous cryptid. The 1958 tracks that gave us the name might have been nothing more than a giant construction site prank. But the ancient lore and the deep untouched wilderness tells a completely different story. If you guys want to see more mystery videos, deep dives, rambles, and stuff like that, then considering like and subscribe to my videos and to my other videos as well that I have made so far. Of course, thank you for watching, and if you want to talk about this Bigfoot or Sasquatch, or as the 8 ancient tribes call it, the Sasket, or just want to hang out or talk about any topic you want, then considering joining my Discord server, alright? If you want to. And besides that, guys, thank you for watching. On my 10th video, I will do a surprise video. I won't say much, but you guys will figure it out. It's gonna be very cool. And okay, I'll tell you one little secret. It'll be an hour long. That's right, an hour long. Ooh. But besides that, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Join my Discord server, and you can chat whatever you want. Alright, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Try Guy out.